Well, good afternoon, it's Bob from Gecko Models, and I've got an unboxing for you. So let's get on to the green mat, I think. Shall we? No, let's do it now. Right, got this box turned up today. Literally, it has just come through my door. So, having a little look through it, I have a funny feeling I know what it is. But let's have a little look and see if it is what I think it is. It's well packed, I know that. Let me get all of this off and I'll come back to you. Well, it's from Models, and it's the Gecko 135th World War II ambulance K2Y. Yeah, cool. Let's have a look. There you go, there's the box. Quite cool. Sorry about the glare. So this is Gecko's version of it. This is not a toy, this is only suitable for adults and modelers aged over 14 according to this. And let me just move the light over a little tad there and see if I can get that. It's not bright enough, is it? So let's bring it down a bit. No, can't get rid of the glare. Right, cement and paint is not included. The actual model may vary from the image on the box. This is a precision model kit which requires assembly, has one figure included. This model kit includes photo etch parts and decals. Not photo etch decals, but obviously it has decals. It is Gecko's model number 35GM0070 and well-known Katy limited edition special boxing 1/35th scale. Let's see if we can get a look round the box. So it's made in China, it has photo etch parts, has decals, and it has a figure which looks remarkably like the Queen. Really good. It's got some of these doodaddy boxes. If you want to check those out, I don't know if that will come out in the video, and it just says Gecko Models in Hong Kong. Let's turn it round to that side, try and get it all in view. It's got a nice end view to it, which is cool. And then on this side it says the different markings on it. So you've got this one and that one. That looks like, you know, ice cold in Alex, and shows the details there. And the other end is the special edition limited edition special boxing limited edition. Right, so we're gonna open the box up and see what's in there, and I'll be back to you in a second. Well, taking the colour sleeve off and you've got a nice box. This is not dissimilar to what ICM do with their kits. So it's nice sturdy box, and lift it up, lift the flap up, and a whole pile of sprues, figure sprues there, which is separate, which is cool. We'll have a look at those in a minute. They're in a Ziploc bag. These parts are in a bag of their own as well. These parts as well, which are the details inside the ambulance. So these are the stretchers and things. They're in a nice Ziploc bag. I like that because you can recycle those. Clear parts, including the doors, and obviously windows and vents and things, right, in a Ziploc bag, and another bunch of screws in another sealed bag, another bunch of screws which look like the body pieces, all in a Ziploc bag, and then these pieces here which look like the chassis and the detailed engine parts, which look good. Yeah, various parts of the engine here. So that's those tyres, solid plastic tyres, which obviously will go onto the wheel hubs. The nice piece of wire there. Decals. There looks like there's only 2 vehicle options, which is good, and then on the rear of that a whole bunch of photo etch parts. Instructions in a, well, quite a detailed, I suppose it's A4 but that way round. Cool. A little bit of cardboard from the packaging, and it says, "Many thanks to the following gentlemen for their assistance. They are Simon King, Andrew Gadd and Curtis Sang." And then on the rear of that is the colour call outs for what looks like the uniform and parts, uniform parts and things for the figure. Right, so let's get the bags opened and then we'll have a look at the parts. Okay, so let's have a look at the instructions. So, like I say, it's a sort of A4, but it's like stapled on this side. There's a write up here about in English and Dutch and some other text which I'm not sure of, probably Chinese, Japanese and Korean, I don't know honestly, so my apologies for my ignorance on that. It's not Dutch, it's German. And let's have a look at how it is. So inside the instructions, I've never seen Gecko instructions before. It sort of recommends different types of glue, cutters, modelling knife, pin vise, etc. And then it has icon instructions along here, which obviously are the similar sort of things that you get in lots of kits. So you've got sort of open hole, obviously drill, remove, 2 sets required, so it gives you a number there, bend, optional, that sort of thing, all the sort of things you would expect from a kit. And then there's a sprue call out. So sprue A, 1 of, sprue AB, 1 of, sprue BC, 1 of, and sprue C, 1 of, sprue BA, 1 of, sprue K, 5 of, apparently. Don't know, they look like tyres, maybe. Hose 1, which is probably that plastic part that we saw it before. Decal 1, photo etch 1, and then we go into CA 1 sprue. DA, there's 2 sprues, and that's one that's got the wheels and things. BD, that's got 2, and that's the stretchers by the look of that. And then you've got D, which is 2, looks like petrol cans, water cans, whatever. DB 1, DC 1, which is the clear one. FR 4, oh, that's more stretchers, so I don't know what that is. I don't know, panels, I don't know. And then G1, F1 and B1 gives you a nice good call out. So let's have a look how we put this thing together. Now I know a lot of you probably gone out there and got the Airfix one, and I have as well, so you know, but I'm just having a look at this one at the moment. So typical chassis construction, ladder construction as they say, with the suspension, and then more suspension at the back, and then putting more rails in to complete the construction of the chassis. Really straightforward, as it were. Obviously, putting this together, we'll make sure everything is square. Next, looking at section 5 and 6. So you've got the section 5 is about assembling the wheels. So there's 2 of those to put together, and then section 6 is about putting the differential together here, and then putting it on there. Section 7, putting the wheels onto, which you made there, onto the differential and look like the brakes and stuff. Section 8, this looks like part of the transmission. This section here, which I would have said was section 9, so this is putting the detail engine together, which if memory serves me correctly, the Airfix kit does not have engine detail. So then the engine putting together, drive shaft put together here, and then putting the engine drive shaft into the chassis, and then the exhaust. So these are fairly straightforward. I do like these photographs or these CAD imprints of the parts. And then an overall layout of the chassis showing where the exhaust goes, and then putting the front suspension arm in and steering doodad, and it looks like this is posable. The front wheels looks like they're posable, which is pretty cool. The next part is to go into details around the front, and this would be the brake setup, I think, looking at this part here, and there's detail there about hoses, so that looks like the front brake, and then putting the front wheels on. So you can set the wheels direction to left, direction to right, which is really cool. I love that in a vehicle. Petrol tank putting together, putting the petrol tanks, there's 2 of those, so putting those onto the chassis there. Petrol or diesel, I'm not sure. And then putting these boards together, I'm not sure what they are. Is that the front or the rear? I think that's the rear step, putting that together without looking at the detail. That looks like the rear step going together, and then you've got the front grille, which is good, the photo etch grille, putting that together, then putting the radiator together, putting that in place, and then putting the radiator together there with some brackets, which is really nice detail. And then you put the radiator onto the front of the chassis, and then you put, looks like the front wheel arches, put that on board, and then assembling the box and the seat all together there for the driver, and then starting on the cab. So you're putting the cab together, cab floor, details there with the levers, cab and driver's detail, and then the detail here of the what would have been the instrument panel, the front sort of firewall, with the steering column and the pedals and a fire extinguisher. Nice detail there. I like the idea that the colours are actually called out as colours rather than a particular number, which is good. And then putting the front of the cab together and the firewall, putting all of that detail together, including decals for the instruments there. Don't know if that's showing up, it might be a bit of glare there, but yeah, you've got the decals there, and then putting all of that together to create the cab, which looks brilliant. That looks really good. Then you've got the sides of the engine covers, and also the brackets across. Very reminiscent of like a Ford A, this sort of bracketry there to hold the radiator and the firewall together. So, and then you've got the sides of the bonnet or the hood, with the various clips to hold those in place. And then you've got the top of the bonnet, sides of the bonnet's put together there, so even though it doesn't show it, you clearly have the option there to leave the hood open or the bonnet open and show the engine detail, which I think is brilliant. That's exactly what it should have. And then you've got, I'm sorry about the glare, but then you've got the rest of the detail here on the front, including all these details of the lights. I'm really sorry, I'm trying to get the glare out of the way. If I move that, I hope it's not, you can still see it. And then you've got the putting the parts together there, including brackets for the disc identifier there. And then you've got like a water tank, water container, the old flimsy as they used to call them. And then you've got jerry cans here, so there's 2 of those, and there's 6 of the flimsies. And then you put in the rear of the body together, including these parts here. I'm not entirely sure, but that's putting the rear floor together by the looks of it. You've then got stretchers with the various photo etch detail, the photo etch cages for the jerry cans and the flimsies, which is really nice detail to have, and that goes together onto the chassis floor there. This is on the underside of the chassis floor, and then the details there to add to it. You then add the chassis floor onto the chassis, and then you add extra detail, the flimsy boxes and the mudguard supports there in photo etch, which is really nice. Really nice detail there, and more photo etch detail there around the rear. Turn it over, looking at the next section. Again, more detail around the rear, the layout of the rear wheel, and the flimsies and the various brackets and supports there for the mudguards, and then the rear end of the chassis there, which is really cool. And then going back to the cab, this is the rear wall of the cab, and you can have it with the door closed or the door open, which is a nice touch. So you can then add in the extra details, the rolled sort of screens that go down there, and you can have them either rolled up there, or it looks like you can have them rolled down there, which is really cool. Extra detail there, really good details there. Again, putting the seat in place on the rear of the door, which is good. Spare wheel inside the cab. This is always a bit of a pig, because it was inside the cab, and I think getting that out would have been a real pain in the ass to get that out. What, you know, if you need to get a spare wheel out to change that, whatever. So the runners for the stretchers on the base of on the floor of the rear, and then putting the padding in place, and then the stretchers on the top of that. Options there, I think, with pads and stuff, and folded blankets, which I think is really cool. And then details in the roof here, so the grab rails, and looks like lights, I think these were. And then getting onto the roof, you've got the roof section there, the inner roof section there, and various storage boxes that go up onto the roof section, and then the top of the roof section, the outer side, with the vents. Nice touch, nice, absolutely brilliant. Next is putting the brackets on with the runners and the supports for the next row, or the second row of stretchers, and vents in the side panels of the rear end, you know, the body, and then more details there, putting the stretcher supports in place. I think this is really nice. Again, more details on painting in the stretchers and that sort of stuff, and putting the rear of the body shell together. And then getting towards the end now, we're in section 53, so it's putting the roof on, putting the sidewalls on, that sort of thing, getting all of that into place, including there's a box there that has the rifles for the crew, which is a nice detail. And then right, the various options inside the rear end. So first option is you've got this one, option 2, which ends up with you've got a lower stretcher position and that one, and then option 1, which has the 2 stretchers, so you have the space between the 2 stretchers, which is absolutely, having that option is brilliant. That is absolutely spot on, exactly what they should do. Then we get into the cab, so we're putting the front end of the body shell together there, and then adding either the side skirts across the doors, so they had like these canvas doors, and the various details associated with that, which is really good. And then we start looking at the roof section. So this looks like the windscreens, putting the windscreen together, various bracketry in PE, which is great, including the wipers. And then in the roof of the cab, you've got the various tools that they would have in there. And then you've got the top end of the doors there, so these are canvas doors with sort of plexiglass type of windows in, which gives you that effect. And you can have that and then add that roof on, or you can have this option, which is having the whole lot all rolled up, and that's there, so you have that sort of open, you know. So that's a really good option there. So again, you've got the rear view mirrors. You've got showing there the layout of the rear view mirrors, then the rear doors with the vents in, and the closures behind the vents, and then putting all of those together, and you can have them in a closed position or the open position. Great stuff, great options. And finally, rolled up stretchers. Great option. So here we go. So where's the paint option? So the first paint option is this one, which is the Auxiliary Territorial Service #1 Training Centre Motor Transport, Camberley, Surrey, UK, March to April 1945. I think this is the one that the Queen was famously photographed with. And then you've got this one here, which is option 2, Katy, movie of the ice cold in Alex. And there you go. The colour schemes call out is Mission Models colours. So you've got light sand, silver, khaki, tyre black, flat white and midstone. Fairly bog standard across a lot of colour paint providers. Brilliant, love it, absolutely, yeah. Nice one, Gecko, you did a great job there. Right, I'm going to do that, have a look at the parts. Hold on a second, I'll be back. So the first sprue, this is sprue A. So you've got the roof of the rear end there, that's the underside of the roof end, and you've got like the vents and stuff like that. That's the front of the cab. Nice texture there, because this was a cloth top, and the same here with those. So that's the inside of the body, and that's the roof over the top, and again that's textured, really nice. And that's the floor area. Looking at it overall, really good. Ejector pin marks on the unseen sides, which is really cool. Really excellent, really like the detail on that. Very nice. Let's have a look at the next sprue, which was sprue AB, which is this one, which has the sidewalls. Again, the ejector pin marks are in places where you won't see them. and the rear doors there, again, they're textured. What you have to remember with these Katy ambulances, the bodies, if I'm right, and I think I am, they were sort of plywood, so you know, they were really rushed together. So you've got the parts there for the rolled up doors, the door panels there, in the cab wall there, the inner door, if I remember rightly. Really nice quality of moulding, absolutely spot on. And the next part was I think I looked at C, which is C. Right, I've got CA here. Oh, come on, unhook yourselves. Right, CA. So you've got various wheel parts, engine parts, transmission, levers within the cab, sidewalls there of the engine bay, nice sort of instrument panel there, and the you know, the inside the cab, and then the front wheel arches, bonnets there. Again, really nice moulding, no worrying ejector pin marks, very nice plastic. It feels really hard plastic, so really nice job that. Next part will be, what's this part? This is sprue BD, and again, looking at these, I think are the cushions on the stretcher beds there, a rifle there, so there must be two of this part. Yeah, there is. There's the second one there, there's the other sprue. So yeah, really good. Again, no worrying ejector pin marks or anything like that, no flash. Well, you wouldn't expect it in a new tool. Really good. Next, let's have a look at these. These are the wheel parts. So yeah, you've got the wheel parts there, and the various parts of the wheels and the tanks there, headlamps, various other detail parts. Again, no problem with ejector pin marks. Nice moulding here on the lamps. Absolutely really nice job. Right, another part. This is sprue D. There's two of these apparently. If I find the other one, is there two of these, or have I just misread the numbering? No, this is DB is one of these. So again, the moulding for the storage of the spare wheel. Looks like part of the exhaust there. Yeah, really nice. Again, no ejector pin marks to worry about. Next, yeah, water can, the water cans, the flimsies and the jerry cans. There's two sprues of these. Very nice. Lots of jerry cans in the stash anyway, so we can look at that. And next, this is sprue BA. This is the cab wall leading into the rear, the firewall there, the floor of the cab, some of the, you know, Pioneer tools there, other details. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. No ejector pin marks to worry about. Very good. Very good indeed. So the next sprue is, this is sprue, look it up, Bob, BC, and this has the driver's seat and the support box. The driver's seat was on the like a box, and there's some other parts there which are in the cab. Really nice job. And finally, the last big sprue, which is this one, which is the chassis sprue. This is C, and you've got the chassis springs, the differential there, and then you have your engine detail within there. So really good. Sorry, I think I might have gone out of shot there. So there's the engine detail there. Absolutely brilliant. Really nicely moulded. Very nicely moulded. Just got to get this done because I think I'm running out of battery power. There's 4 sprues there, which are the stretchers and the details, and various parts, as I said before, for the figure, which is cool, really good. As I said before, the tyres and the clear parts. All in all, an assessment of that. Sorry Airfix, but you ain't made the grade. I think the Gecko kit is far better, and you know, alright, it's a bit more expensive, but Airfix, what are you doing? Could have nailed this. From looking at it, the Gecko kit wins. Right, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.